Hello, I'm here with George.
Hi, I'm George. This is Melis.
So George, can you please explain us a little of field archery?
Yeah, you know, Melis, I have the best description I've heard about field archery, being both a field archer and a target archer, comes from a good friend of mine, Jay Bars, who's the 1988 Olympic gold medalist and also two-time winner of the World Field Championship. And what Jay likes to say is field archery is for the thinking archer. Now, what does he mean? The difference between target archery and field archery is, in field archery we have all kinds of different conditions. We have targets of various sizes. We have to have many different abilities to deal with the difference between, say, an uphill shot and a downhill shot. So the level of challenge of field archery is really the biggest difference. If we wanted to sum up what field archery is like and correlate it to another sport, maybe we would say that field archery is a little bit like golf. Because in the game of golf, you have different distances to the hole, you have different approaches to the green, you have many different ways to get the golf ball from one point to another. And the same is true in field archery. We may have an uphill shot or a downhill shot. We may have a shot on a target face that can be as small as 40 centimeters, and it can be as far away as 25 meters. So the degree of difficulty is greater with field archery than with target archery. With target archery, we have 4 distances, or in the World Cup, only 1 distance, and it's flat ground. Field archery requires a much more varied palette of skills for the archer to be able to succeed.
I see. So how many targets are there?
It's a 24 target course for each round, and then the number of targets are reduced as we continue with the competition. But it starts out basically with 48 targets in qualification, 24 unmarked, which means we don't know the distance, and 24 marked. Now, not knowing the distance means that shooters have to be able to make a judgment using various methods to try to figure out how far is the target, and also what size target they're looking at. And that's one of the biggest challenges of field, is figuring out how far away the target is, and then figuring out how much to cut, how much to remove from the distance for an uphill or downhill shot. Whether we're shooting uphill or we're shooting downhill, we always have to cut the distance because we're shooting against the leg of a triangle. So the actual distance is reduced by the trigonometric relationship between where the shooter is and where the target is. And because in FIDE archery we're not allowed to have electronic devices or notes about this subject, we have to be able as shooters to know how much to cut for each angle. So that's all part of the challenge.
So basically they roll all day long and they have to bring their lunches. And
yes, you have to have, basically for field archery, you know, unlike target archery, you can't really have your your backup bow nearby. But everything else you can bring with you. So most field archers are going to have a small backpack. They're going to carry some food and they're going to carry some water and things of that nature. But they'll also carry things like spare bowstrings or spare arrow rests, glue or tools. Because if there's a problem on the field course, you've only got about 15 minutes to fix the problem. And oftentimes it doesn't leave enough time to get off the course, get your backup bow, and get back in the game. So most field archers learn to be proficient with taking care of themselves and taking care of their equipment. You know, it also brings up the subject of physical fitness. Most field archers have to be in pretty good shape because you only have 4 minutes to shoot from when you get to the target. And you may have to shoot right after you've made a long climb, for example, and sometimes we shoot at high altitude. So you need to be in good shape so that you can have a low heart rate and a good shot in spite of having maybe done a tremendous amount of physical exertion.
So what happens if they don't shoot within 4 minutes?
Well, the first time that you fail to make the time limit, if there's a judge on hand, the judge will issue a warning. And then there are penalties if you have a subsequent warning that you fail to adhere to. So the rules are pretty clear about that. But because there are only so many judges on the course, it's quite often the case that a shooter will take longer than 4 minutes, but there won't be a judge there to say something.
I see. Thank you very much, George.
You're very welcome.